so you know that I'm alive. I still get the dreams and the feeling of doom. I don't wanna frighten you, the pills that lie to you. Without you, I feel yeah, we're walking in a circle, yeah, we're falling in a world, yeah, I'm wondering. Yeah, we're walking in a circle, yeah, we're falling in a world, yeah, I'm wondering. Yeah, we're walking in a circle, yeah, we're falling in a world, yeah, I'm wondering. You're run down in my savior. For me, so I breathe. Your pockets run dry. I'll change that in time. Yeah, we're walking in a circle, yeah, we're falling in a world, yeah, I'm wondering. Yeah, we're walking in a circle, yeah, we're falling in a world, yeah, I'm wondering.
How dare you? I'm gonna unmute just to say, how dare you? How dare you? Follow. I'll remember. crew in here. Okay, we're gonna get started on Twitch too. Let me turn the music. What up, friends? Hello, hello. Been a long time. I'm sorry. I'm sorry it's been so long since I've been back, but it's just been busy. Just been busy. Hi, Nazanin. How are you? Hi, TikTok. TikTok, if you come to the same username on Twitch, you're gonna be able to see what I'm gonna show. You'll be able to hear it from our speakers, but you won't be able to see the screen that we're watching. So letting you guys know. I'm gonna try to pay attention to all the chats, but I have ADHD, so I'm sorry ahead of time. I'm great, Nazanin. It's good to see you here. We haven't chatted in a while. Lots has happened since we last spoke on TikTok. Hey, what's going on? Oh, we got a crew on TikTok. Wow. This is very crazy. Let's see how we're doing. Wow, we got a crew on Twitch too. Wow, nice. Jeez. Is making me feel good right now. I hope everyone's doing good. I've been doing good. I have been working on something or deciding on something in the background that a few of you might know about. And some of you probably can like guess about. But I am probably going to not give you guys too much information about it right now, but tease that something is coming. So I'm very excited about it. I'm very excited about it. New chapter, new page in life. But you guys are going to be seeing a lot more of me. I'm going to be very annoying to the people in power, hopefully very soon. Much more annoying than I am right now. Oh yeah, you guys like this? You guys like this? I got this from No Kings. I got lucky. They had this at No Kings and they had my size and I'm just like, "Damn, I'm going to wear this on stream." I tried to steal a second one, but socialism, you know? Um how did yeah, we got Pelham in the house. Hell yeah, let's go. You need sane diaspora. Nazanin, I agree. TikTok on so no, I have someone in TikTok, Nazanin, who's Persian as well, and we've spoken. Like she's one of the sane diaspora Iranians that I tell you guys about. That there's a lot of us for my friends in Twitch who can't see TikTok. And one of the beautiful things, I think, one of the things that I really loved about talking about the Iranian issue, something that I can uniquely speak about, is it felt very lonely for a while, kind of just like at the beginning of the invasion of Gaza. It was like being on an island because it's something I've studied my whole life. So I knew, you know, my position hasn't changed on Gaza. The war did not start in October of 2023, right? It's like, you know, 60 whatever years long, maybe even longer than that if you want to go really back into the history. But it was very lonely at the beginning of that because you have a position and no one else has that position. Now it's the popular position. With the Iranian position, it felt that way at the very beginning. It felt like we were so fucking outnumbered. Like it felt like the world all of a sudden, like every Iranian on earth wanted to bomb Iran, and it was very lonely, you know. And 65, yeah, Nazanin. So you know too, Nazanin. It was very lonely, but now I feel like I found the right people. Like the algorithm has led me to the right place to find other sane Iranians, and I feel less lonely now, which is very nice. It's a beautiful thing. So I appreciate that we, yeah, seriously. And hopefully, you know, hopefully it can't get much worse out there. So we'll keep our fingers crossed and keep talking to sane Iranians, hopefully. So I don't have a crazy thing planned for you guys. I was just gonna go by like the seat of my pants. Um, there's a video. Okay, so I'm gonna just switch my screen here. So I don't know if you guys know this creator. Um, her name's Leisha Miller. She releases long form videos like once, I don't know, once every couple weeks, like once a month. Um, her name's Leisha Miller on YouTube. If you want to go look her up on YouTube too, she's got great long form videos, just about everything. Um, she's one of my main watches, and she actually did a video on Hassan Piker and the leftist extremism going on in the country. And I always find her takes extremely like just extremely pragmatic and progressive, and just she's always on the right side of history. And I figured we watch this together. We'll watch this together. Hopefully you guys haven't seen it yet. We'll watch it together. We'll see what she has to say. Um I'm pretty sure she's a lawyer, or she was a lawyer. She's in Minneapolis. She was like pretty active with the anti-ICE stuff going there too, like reporting on it. Um but I think this is a good video that we can talk about and kind of explore this orchestrated attack. Let's be honest here, okay? So the force we just talked about Iran, and I was talking to Nazanin about how there's like this kind of like this orchestrated force that's like pro-Iranian bombing that are Iranians, right? It's the same forces that are anti Hassan Piker, by the way. It's the same source. It's literally coming from the same source. The money is coming from the same fucking place. Like literally, not I'm not it's not figurative, it's not like hyperbole or hypothetical. Like the money that is going into, hey, I'm Iranian, please nuke my country. That same money is going into anti Hassan Piker, anti track APAC. All that orchestration is all coming from the same source. Again, people will try to conflate that and be like, "Well, that sounds like you're being anti-Semitic. What are you trying to say? Jews run the world?" No, it has nothing to do with that, right? Like this, it's obvious that like it's like a capitalist machine at work here. It has nothing to do with religion. This is like power structures, right? Like, and you have to start. And this is like I made a video on this where anytime yeah, the blue and white country exactly is not real. So anytime someone pushes you on something, right? Like, and again, they talk about litmus tests and they talk about like political questions. Don't deal with the bullshit. If they say something like like if they say something like Hassan Piker is, you know, as an example, just because Hassan Piker is all over the news right now. But if they use him as an example and they say, hey, like this guy hates black people and he's a racist. Okay, that's fine. How do you feel about genocide? Okay, that's fine. Is Israel committing a genocide? You will find more often than not that these answers will match each other. They're all parallel, right? Like you can sense someone's. I hate it to a certain extent. Sorry, I'm going on a bit of a bender here, but I hate it to a certain extent. Has anyone heard the new FIFA, the American FIFA World Cup song? Is so fucking American, bro. It is so fucking American. It makes me want to walk into an F-150 or have one run into me, preferably. Like it is like FIFA music that has come out for the World Cup is some of the best fucking music to have ever graced this planet. I'm telling you, like Shakira, like Ricky Martin. These are some of the best fucking music you have ever heard in your life. And then we had Jelly Roll release like an F-150 commercial for our FIFA song, right? Like it's fucking insane. I actually don't know why I went on this fucking bender. I don't know why I was connecting this, but something important I wanted to say that I lost my mind now because it's such a fucking terrible song. It's such a terrible song, and analyzing the coordinated attacks. Damn, AI summary. TikTok AI summary is like spot on. Sorry, I lost my train of thought here. There's a reason I wanted to connect the music from FIFA to what we were talking about, but maybe I'll figure it out later. But yeah, so the moral of the story is the source of this kind of like propaganda, the source of okay, I know what I was saying. Everything is political. Everything is political. This is why I was bringing up that song. If you find someone, if you find an American, okay, you find an American that says they like that fucking FIFA song, you know who they voted for. Straight up. Straight up. Straight up. Like, I'm not saying you can figure it out the other way. I'm not saying if they said it's a terrible song, you can figure out who they voted for that way. But if they said that they liked that song as a FIFA song, you absolutely know who they voted for. It's a science. And it sucks that that's the case. It sucks that that's the case. But that's the case now. Your take on the NHL hockey, the American hockey team. I can tell who you voted for. You know? It's terrible, but it is what it is. It has infiltrated all parts of life. And everything is inherently political. Don't let anyone tell you any differently. All right, let's get to this. Leisha Miller on YouTube. It's called America's Hasan Piker Problem. That's what we're about to watch. It's from 4 days ago. So you can follow along on YouTube. Come on to my Twitch, same username if you're in TikTok. And here we go.
I'm your lawyer friend, Leisha Miller. This week, Dr. Abdul El-Sayed, a progressive candidate running to represent Michigan in the U.S. Senate, was joined by leftist Twitch streamer Hasan Piker at a campaign rally at Michigan State.
I'm gonna stop this. Nazanin, I just want to touch you. You brought it up earlier than anyone else, and Nazanin in TikTok is saying they're making Hasan Piker even more famous. They're turning him into Trump, bro. Like, let's be real. Like, what did the media do to Trump? They centered him over everything, and he became bulletproof. Trump became bulletproof to the detriment of the world, right? It's just an observation. I'm not pro-Trump, obviously, here, but he's become bulletproof. He can do things that no politician has ever been able to fucking dream of doing. You know? And yeah, in the opposite way, they're doing the same thing to Hasan Piker. And this is why he's playing it perfectly. He's not angry about it. He loves it. He loved the fact that, bro, I would love it too if the Border Patrol fucked with me. I mean, I was born here. Where are you going to deport me to, you know? As of right now, you know, fingers crossed. But but there's like a level of it is like, God, I hope they fuck with me so I can talk about it. A level of it. There's some privilege involved there, obviously, but he's playing it correctly, and it's working in the opposite. It's working. Oh, that not gonna. Yeah, I appreciate it. God forbid, for sure. But yeah, so it's an interesting dynamic here where, again, people aren't attracted to Hasan Piker because he's objectively hot. He is, okay? I'm straight. Dude's hot. Okay, he's tall. He's like 6'4". Fuck out of here. You know, what are you gonna do? He's intelligent, you know. But you're just powering him up. And he's speaking to a portion of Americans that have never been spoken to by a politician, right? He's been on the right side of history most of the time.
University, despite.
You ever see would gladly smash and tweet? You ever see how the I've had it ladies talk to him? Like the way, like I've never seen the man blush more, you know? Like just he's a little softy in person.
The fact that Trump was literally threatening to genocide an entire country while stripping away crucial social safety nets to fund his pointless war of aggression in the Middle East, despite, you know, all the horrors, the Democratic establishment was more incensed and up in arms about a leftist streamer stumping for a progressive candidate than they were about pretty much anything else this week. And hey, guess what? Prior to this week, I had never heard of Dr. Abdul El-Sayed. Weird. It's almost like he's successfully campaigning for a seat in the Senate by aligning with people who will help publicize his race. Maybe instead of running around like their hair's on fire and twisting themselves up in knots trying to cancel Hasan Piker, the Democratic establishment could take some fucking notes. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Today,
this is okay. If you guys don't know Leisha Miller, I've been following her for a while. Like, this is not her general tone. And if you guys know me, or you guys have known me, you know, for me, tone is everything right now. Moral clarity is everything. And I truly believe truly believe that we need to all stop spending so much time explaining 2 plus 2 equals 4 and start telling people what we fucking demand from them, what we expect from them. There are plenty of people in this country that do not vote, and they're in line with you. They're in line with how you feel about the world. They're just not motivated. What's inspiring about voting? Not much. But her tone and the tone of America in general that seems to be shifting is the type of moral conviction that we need to be running through this world with. Make your position clear. Stick your flag in it. There are other people there that are going to fight with you. We are going to have to meet the energy of fascists with the same type of energy. Some of us, not every, I'm not saying everyone's got to be in the front line like sparring with fascists, but fascists respond to strength. That's all they respond to. And they smell weakness. And, one place that I think you can definitely sense this if you're living in New Hampshire, I would say Twitch is a little more active. Twitch is definitely a little more active. Nazanin is like keeping my Twitch full my TikTok full right now. She's helping me out on TikTok. But Twitch definitely has more people. But yeah, move through the world with moral conviction, moral clarity. They're like going back to that genocide issue, going back to like asking them, do you think Israel's committing a genocide? That's a fucking, like that has to be a one-word answer. Seriously. And we're dealing with some shit with the New Hampshire Progressive Caucus. And my general thought about that, without getting too deep into it before we get into this video, is that ain't no one gonna tell me who the progressive is, all right? Let's be real. There's no one that's gonna tell me who the progressive is. We'll tell you who the progressive is. There ain't no way that the guy who is not clear on genocide and the guy who is not clear on ICE is the progressive. There's no way. There's no way. I'm sorry. You don't tell me who the progressive is. I tell you who the progressive is. And that's generally how I feel about the DNC. You don't tell me who the most electable person is. I tell you. And it feels like the Progressive Caucus in this state got a little bit comfortable in their own power positions, as if they could shove a fucking candidate down our throat too. Well, apparently not. So, and I had nothing. I was busy with Iran. I haven't even fucking broached this subject. Okay? I haven't even touched the subject. Okay? I've been busy with my bloodlines getting fucking possibly nuked off of this earth. To deal with this crazy idea that like the progressive person is not calling what's happening in the Middle East a genocide. I'm sorry. That's the first fucking hurdle, man. Jesus. Unbelievable. God, I got revved. I got crazy revved up. It's all good. We'll save some good stuff for you, Marissa. Fuck it, quit your job,
Cancel Hassan Piker, the Democratic establishment could take some fucking notes. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Today, we're breaking down what the fuck is going on with the Hassan Piker debate and who he is, if you're like, Legion, I've never fucking heard of this guy, and why this discussion matters deeply for the future of this country. This headline from CNN helped inform my...
Just want to remind, if you are in, just reminder for my TikTok friends, TikTok is not too nice when it comes to, it's not the greatest streaming app. So if you have a browser, if you want to go download Twitch, I'm on Twitch as well. Twitch is so much of a better experience. Oh my God, don't ban me, TikTok. Just kidding. Twitch is so much of a better experience, and you can actually see my screen. You can hear what we're watching on TikTok, but you can actually see the screen that we're watching if it matters to you. We're just watching a documentary, a think piece by Leisure Miller, who's a lawyer. Same username on Twitch as well.
reporting on this issue, and believe me, we are going to break down this panel discussion because it's a doozy. Hassan Piker tests the limits of the Democratic Party's big tent. Using the Ground News browser extension, I can get helpful background information on this publication in one quick glance. To get the big picture, I can click on full coverage, which will show me coverage of the same story from publications across the political spectrum. My partner on today's video, Ground News, is an app and website that offers tools to help you critically analyze the news you read, providing context to understand the full picture. You can follow along at ground.news/Legia. For every major news headline and headlines you may have missed, Ground News provides you with information and context, like who owns the publication and how factual it is, to help you determine for yourself what is trustworthy and how to interpret the news. I feel empowered by Ground News by getting well-rounded insight into each headline instead of relying on a single outlet that might have underlying biases and motivations that I'm not aware of. Ground News also ensures that I never miss a headline because of my own information bubble with its blind spot feature, by highlighting stories that are covered up.
I don't have a subscription to Ground News, but this is a great source of news in terms of like giving you like bias ratings. Also, one of the news that I swear by right now from Middle Eastern news that I absolutely swear by. Hey, Paige. I'm glad to be here and hear what you're sharing. Hey, Paige. Paige Boschman is in TikTok. Paige, I'm on Twitch too. I'm live on Twitch as well if you want to see the screen that we're watching. Yeah, me too. I go to sleep with Legia Miller in the background too sometimes. She's a good listen. No, I mean, hey, good to be doing unhealthier things while you're sleeping. What was I saying? Drop site news. Okay, let me go find it. Listen, I know it's really hard. It's really hard right now to know the news that's real and to get like real news about what's going on in the Middle East. These guys are gospel to me right now. And you have to understand how seriously I take this stuff and how hard it is to get real information. And they have connections in the Middle East. They're talking to Iranians, they're talking to Hamas, they're talking to Hezbollah because these groups trust them. Inherently, they're journalists, okay? Like for some reason, over the past whatever amount of time, hey, Christy's here. Welcome back, Christy. So good to see you. We have demonized people that are getting us information. Like these guys aren't terrorist supporters because they're getting the side of the people that we are fighting with, right? They're giving us very real information that cuts through a lot of American propaganda too. That's why they're not liked by American government sources. You know, they call them anti-American and all that stuff. But if you want real Middle Eastern news, or if you want to confirm something, drop site, gospel to me. And I don't say that lightly. Independent news in general, great. Al Jazeera, again, Al Jazeera is owned by Qatar. Okay, it's got the same issues that like the BBC has. But bear in mind, when you watch BBC, it's giving you a bend on one side. Al Jazeera is giving you an opposing bend, but Al Jazeera is also accurate. They're following the same rules that BBC is. Am I telling you not to go to BBC and to go to Al Jazeera? No, I'm not. I'm telling you that it would help you immensely to go to everyone, including Fox News. I know. Oh my God, choke me out. But to see at least what they are feeding their people while you're looking at the news that matters, right? Like the other day, I saw Fox News showing oil, like instead of showing the gas prices, they were showing the price per barrel of oil. The fuck? How many of you have bought a barrel of oil? How many Fox News watchers have ever bought a barrel of oil? And of course, their fans are going out and being like, oh my God, look at the barrels of oil. Like as if you ever gave a shit, but they're not talking about the gas prices on there, right? Everything is always skewed, and you want it all. Don't shy away from the stuff that makes you feel uncomfortable. Like take that stuff into. Very important. All right, let's go.
On one side of the political spectrum and not the other. Ground News is transparent about its methodology, how it assesses each story and publication, including how it uses 3 independent monitoring organizations to assess the bias rating for each publication. I genuinely think the world would be a better place if everyone had this much context about the news they read, because depending on where you or your family members get the news, you're going to get very different takes on the same story. And listen, I'm not the only one who loves Ground News. The Nobel Peace Center even called it an excellent way to stay informed, avoid echo chambers, and expand your worldview. I'm always really impressed with Ground News and genuinely think they're a great resource. If you want to stay informed on US politics and more, subscribe to this QR code or my link below at ground.news/Legia. media for 40% off this unlimited access Vantage plan. It comes out to $5 a month for unlimited access to all the features I've mentioned. Thanks, Ground News. Hasan Piker is a 34-year-old leftist content creator who mainly is known for his live streams on a live streaming website called Twitch. He got his start in the media world through his uncle Cenk Uygur of the Young Turks, a left-leaning news organization. He live streams every day for 8 hours a day from his home in Los Angeles, mostly watching and commenting on the news to his over 3 million followers on Twitch, and then reposting clips of the live streams across other social media platforms. His views have been described as far left, socialist, Marxist. He tends to espouse anti-imperialist, pro-worker, pro-Palestinian ideology. So, of course, he's been labeled a major threat by the Democratic establishment. As recently laid out in a great opinion piece in The Guardian by Bhaskar Sankara, quote, Representative Brad Schneider branded Piker and...
To be fair, Hasan Piker, he's really, like, he has lost so much money because he doesn't care who recycles his content. Like, he will do a stream and people will record the stream as he's live streaming and upload the clip and, like, get millions of views and, like, make mad money in the background off those clicks. And he doesn't care because I mean, I'm sure he knows ultimately that's helping him, but it's one of those things where it's like most content creators are not like that. You know, like if you know anything about content creation, they're putting out copyrights a lot. If you're unfairly playing with their stuff. Have I seen this video yet? The Leisha Miller video we're watching right now? No, this is my first time too.
Unapologetic anti-Semite. Michigan's own Senator Alyssa Slotkin, a former Pentagon official, weighed in with her condemnation, as did Representative Haley Stevens, one of El Sayed's primary rivals. Another opponent, Mallory McMorrow, went so far as to liken Piker to Nick Fuentes, a white supremacist who has enthusiastically praised Adolf Hitler on camera. When Politico came calling, both Cory Booker and Ruben Gallego rushed to declare they would refuse an invitation to appear on Piker's stream. Again, at a time when we're fucking begging anyone in the Democratic establishment to do anything to stop the onslaught of horrific fucking atrocities being committed by our government, they are instead like, hey, we need to cancel this progressive Twitch streamer. This speaks volumes to two things. One, the extent to which our entire political and media establishment is bought out by Israel and AIPAC, the American Israel Public Affairs Committee, which I'll get into, and two, the power that modern political commentators on social media have in America today. Maybe I'm biased, but I think I'm right. First, the primary objections that people have to Hasan Piker seem to stem from some controversial things he has said at various points throughout his career. Here's Dana Bash on CNN talking about it as though someone from AIPAC is holding a gun.
We're about to watch some insane shit, I'm sure. I've seen Dana Bash deal with Hasan Piker. I haven't seen this video, but I know what she's about to talk about. I am one of those Americans, and like I'm one of those Americans that has been like I am in the Matrix, right? Like I have been fully unplugged from the Matrix over the past few years. And I'm not saying that as like a flex. I'm saying that as like I'm shook in a way. Like, it wasn't that long ago where I was regularly watching Bill Maher, CNN, like a whole bunch of different milquetoast neoliberal fucking groups that I got all my information from. And like I look at Bill Maher now and I'm just like, that racist, Islamophobic, fuck, hack, joke of a fucking comedian. I saw him live twice. Like I loved him. I thought. I mean, there was a time maybe where he was left, and it's just this mask has been ripped off so insanely. Like it's like I have like still a bad rash from it all, you know? It's like, and there's a bit, so it's, I look now when I see CNN, I'm like, this is fucking soft fascist propaganda. It might not be in your face fascistic propaganda, but this is soft fascist propaganda because ultimately capitalism will always run to fascism before it runs to socialism. Hello, ICE. Oh, you're pissed about the war, Republicans? Oh, you thought this was an immigration force? Surprise. Oh, Democrats. Why aren't the Democrats fighting so hard against ICE? Well, they're going to get power. they're going to need the same ICE forces to beat the Democrats down when we're protesting Iran's surge, protesting nuking Iran, God forbid, you know? ICE will beat the shit out of us then. Or over our rent, you know, whatever we're suffering from at the moment. That's what ICE is there for, because they're getting paid more than our military is, to a certain extent, certain parts of the military. So we are in precipitous times.
To her head just off screen.
Here's some of what he
dangerous
actually has
times, I should
said
say.
about the depravity of the October 7th terror attack, the deadliest day for the Jewish people since the Holocaust. Quote, "It doesn't matter if effing rapes
I'm getting some agreements in TikTok. Absolutely, you know. I mean, we have pattern recognition, right? Like, we've had enough history. But even in our own cultures, in our own, when they talk, oh man, like it's like for me, it's like a trigger every time, like every time a fucking like pumpkin spice latte of an evangelical cries to me about Sharia law. Like, the fuck are you talking about, bro? Like, you're making abortion illegal in this. Like, you're sending all the teen pregnant immigrants that you have. You're sending them to a state so they can't get abortions. The fuck are you scared about? This is Sharia law, bro. It's just, again, I always use this term. It's just branding. One's desert chic and the other one's Hobby Lobby core. You know? Yes, I will absolutely update this. I will absolutely upload this VOD on my YouTube. So no worries. I got you. But yeah, it's just branding. Take it from people who, come from cultures and families that, my parents were very conservative. When I was growing up, my parents were very conservative. I used to go to like mosque. I used to pray. I fucking hated it, bro. It's like being told what to do sucks. I don't care what religion it is. Anyway, they made me go to mosque. They made me. I wasn't allowed to have a girlfriend in high school. Like, it was just about studying, and they've become very Americanized now. They're very liberal, and they're like, "Fuck, that sucked. That sucked when we did that." And I'm not holding it like the point here is choice, right? That's what I'm not hating on religion. I think religion provides great community service when you're not reading it word for word and stoning gay people out on the streets, right? Like, I generally think that the community aspect of religion is great. And I wish it saved more, I would rather people become religious than go into gangs, which is ultimately, that's what it is. Religion provides a community, right? And you want it to be a healthy community. It's supposed to be a place that is like, instead of going to the military, maybe you go to church, like instead of going into a gang, you would go to church. That's the idea, right? Because people ultimately, they want to be part of something bigger. They want to be part of a family. They want to be part of something bigger than themselves. That's a human attribute. Like we are not solitary creatures. I don't care what people tell you about being introverts. A level of me is an introvert, whatever that mid thing is, the intro extrovert, that new term that they have, that's probably me. But like, those who live by themselves, I mean, I don't want to speak for everyone, okay, but there is a human attribute to not being solitary. We're not solitary creatures. We're social creatures. We have sex for fun. That's a very important thing. That's a very important distinction. Not many animals have sex for fun. So, I mean, these are things you have to keep in mind.
happened on October 7th. Like, that doesn't change the dynamic for me. The Palestinian resistance is not perfect. Now, let that sink in. Hassan Piker is excusing sexual violence by Hamas terrorists. He also claims Hamas is, quote, 1,000 times better than Israel. Hamas is a designated terror organization, not just by the U.S., but by the EU, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, just to name a few. And here's what Piker said about the horrors of September 11th, 2001.
America deserved 9/11, dude. F it. I'm saying it. Like, we fucking totally brought it on ourselves, dude. Holy shit. We did. We fucking did.
Now, Piker did later call that comment inappropriate and said he didn't mean Americans deserved to die.
Let that sink in. Dana Bash is comfortable with Israel genociding the entirety of Gaza as retribution for the crimes of a few Hamas terrorists. Crimes that
so
Israelis also
fucking
commit against
ridiculous, dude.
Palestinians at staggering numbers.
If we're not
There is
laughing,
no
we're
question that
crying,
Hamas
you know?
engages in
Like-
terrorist activities, and Hassan's flippant language around sexual violence is absolutely condemnable. But the global hypocrisy is also staggering, and something so much bigger than one person live streaming from his bedroom in Los Angeles. Hamas is condemned globally as a terrorist organization, and the
I'm not gonna make and listen, I like what Leisure Miller's saying here, but like there's still a little bit of detail on the sexual violence part of what he said. Could he have been, I don't know. If you heard what he said, his point was obvious here that whether or not there was sexual violence during October 7th doesn't change whether or not genocide is justified. Like, just because there is sexual violence doesn't mean now your genocide is justified. Genocide bad regardless of sexual violence. That's what he was saying. That, like, his condemnation for the genocide of Palestinians isn't contingent on whether or not there was sexual violence. I don't think anyone can, that's not a controversial statement, right? Like, you're not going to be like, you know what? You can go murder babies because of the sexual violence. And now that's allowed. You should be able to go murder babies, right? It's so fucking insane. But this is the type of shit that is like so evil, man. This is the type of evil messaging that, again, it gets amplified. By the time you can deal with the lie, it has spread around the world. Best example, Israel, October 7th. How many of you remember? I sure remember how many times they told us they saw beheaded babies in ovens. Remember, Joe fucking Biden got up with the presidential seal behind him, got up and he said he saw photos. He saw photos of beheaded babies. The president of the United States. Now, we can blame Trump, whatever, but, and this might not be a popular take with y'all, but you're going to have to live with this. When they look at the history books and they say, who is the single most person to blame for the genocide of Gaza? It's going to be Joe Biden, and it's not going to be close. Okay? Hate me? I don't fucking care. Okay? I'm not saying Trump isn't continuing this brutal genocide, but he's just continuing it. Okay? Trust. Okay? History will prove one of us right and one of us wrong. But that's the point he was trying to make during the Hassan Piker thing, is that that's what the point he was trying to make, is that sexual violence is abhorrent, like regardless, but that existing as part of the overall crimes that happen from Hamas doesn't affect how you feel about genocide. And I would hope most of you would agree with that.
atrocities its militants carried out on October 7th, including alleged rapes, some of which have been debunked as untrue, I'll note, have been pointed to as key evidence justifying this terrorist designation. Yet, at the same time, Israel is a legitimate state that deserves to exist and be protected. This despite a UN report from last year that found, quote, Israel has increasingly employed sexual, reproductive, and other forms of gender-based violence against Palestinians as part of a broader effort to undermine their right to self-determination and carried out genocidal acts through the systematic destruction of sexual and reproductive healthcare facilities. I've said it before and I'll say it again. It is very important to pay attention to who is being called a terrorist and who isn't, and by whomst. Israel violently colonizes land that is already occupied, creates a genocidal apartheid state. Both sides commit atrocities and violence against each other. One is a designated terrorist organization, and the other is a state that has the right to self-determination. But you're not allowed to point that out in this country because every single politician and mainstream news organization is bought and sold by Israel and AIPAC. And so they lob the anti-Semitic accusation around and fearmonger anyone who might step out of line and speak out against the well-documented atrocities committed by Israel. The Hassan Piker problem is that he's outside this web of control, and yet has amassed a lot of political power in this country because no one watches or trusts mainstream media anymore. Case in point, that CNN panel. I think it's also a testament to Hassan Piker's influence, the fact that he forced Dana Bash to contend with, on this CNN panel, the idea of Hamas as a terrorist org to begin with. For the longest time, we weren't even debating that. We weren't even debating Israel's legitimacy, at least not on the scale that we are now. And that has put a target on Hassan Piker's back, which I think is the age-old problem for famous leftist activists in this country. Actual avowed anti-Semites, white supremacists, neo-Nazis, skinheads, the KKK, far-right conspiracy theorists, they're running around successfully advocating for actual violence, and the people in the highest rungs of power are worried about a guy who's pro-worker and anti-imperialist who said a few problematic things about Israel and 9/11. They compare him to Nick Fuentes as though that's a fair...
Again, like, knowing the context of what he said about 9/11, do any of you disagree with that? Like that America deserved 9/11, not that Americans deserve to die, right? That's a huge distinction. But like America as the government, like, hasn't been the biggest fucking terrorist force on earth. They're not expected to take a 9/11 once in a while.
comparison.
It's like,
one man is
I think it's just common sense.
advocating for
I'm
social...
not like just, oh, fuck, what did I do? I don't think it's, you know, is it controversial? Is it like a scary thing to say? Yeah, maybe, you know, if you're a baby, you know, but this is the real world now. We do fucked up shit around the world. And I'm not exactly convinced that I don't want to get banned off this fucking app, but you know, did we know more about that day than we're letting off? I'm not a truther. I'm not someone that says we did this to ourselves, but did we know more than we're letting on? Did it provide us a justification to go into the Middle East? Yes, it did. And if you guys don't remember, there were a couple times where Trump got shot at, and the first thing they said when he got shot at, the first thing they said is he was Iranian. Like, this is a threat from Iran, like out of fucking nowhere, dude, like out of fucking left field. Like, he's just like, I think it's Iran. I think it's like an Iranian sleeper cell. Bro, there have been like 800 documented, or I don't know, 600 documented suicide bombings in the history of the world. How many of them do you think are Iranian? 0 documented Iranian terrorists that have blown themselves up, bro. Like, we are not sleeper cell people, bro. We are PhD holders, you know, like a lot of the Middle East, you know? Like, it is so fucking brazen and crazy. And it's just something you have to constantly be aware of. And they do it to all these different cultures, right? They're constantly just trying to get you scared and hating. And just one last thing it reminds me that I wanted to talk about. If you guys remember how they were going after like the Somalian community in Minnesota, those are me, man. Like those Somalians have been here the same amount of time that I've been here. Most of them have been here for longer than my family has. Like, I'm first generation, bro. They're going to harass me out there. Like, those are first generation, second generation, third generation Americans of Somali descent. It's so crazy to me, dude. Like, in America, they were born here. Like, they're as American as it fucking gets. But they're getting treated as, like, again, it's just like a kind of like a visceral, like, that's an immigrant, that's a legal immigrant right there, or that's a undocumented immigrant is what they say. It's so fucking crazy. And to me, I would fucking lose my goddamn mind if someone was like, you know, you're fresher. What do you mean? Like, where the fuck am I supposed to go? You know, like, Jesus Christ, it's so crazy. To me, it's so crazy, and so it hurts. It makes me hurt inside. I feel you, Monica. That's fair, Monica. You know, I'm on TikTok. My friend Monica, we're mutual, says deserves is a rough word, and I would say that's okay. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. It being a rough word. I wouldn't have said it like that exactly, but I think with the context, I feel okay with like what he's trying to say. Did he say it the best way? Nah, I would agree with you.
Socialism and workers' rights and in favor of the marginalized and against billionaires. The other one openly denies that the Holocaust ever happened. Because the terrorists on the far right, the ones who actually carry out far more extremist violence than the left ever does, their terrorism is directed towards minorities. A person like Hasan Piker, someone who advocates for working people, for minorities, against the American imperialist experiment, he is genuinely a terrorist in the eyes of the 1%. To them, his ideas bring them terror. And that's the only
Ox, we're going to talk about this in a minute. I'm going to let this, I've been talking forever, but this is a very important thing. And, you know, talk about it. It's a very important phenomenon.
Kind of terror our establishment cares about, the terror of the 1%, because people like Hasan are advocating for them to be wiped off the face of the earth. To the 1%, taxes and regulations are their own personal genocide. Their existence as billionaires can't withstand the types of ideas that a person like Hasan Piker advocates for. So that is what those in power are going to find most threatening and attempt to shut down, and they always have. And I think Hasan Piker and the debate we're having over him, as fucking annoying as all of this is, I think it's good for America. Now let me be clear about my own stance on Hasan. Does Hasan Piker present his ideas in a tactful, palatable way? Absolutely not. I find Hasan Piker to be incredibly off-putting most of the time. He reminds me of the guys I majored in poli-sci with in college who would talk over me at parties. I don't like the way he speaks to his audience. I don't agree with the brazen, insensitive way he talks about these issues. And I think live streaming lends itself really well to running your mouth and saying shit you later regret. That being said, Hasan has watched numerous of my...
It's fucking true. Okay. At least with my TikToks, I can like edit those when I say something crazy. But you motherfuckers trying to pin me against the wall. I know what y'all are trying to do. Okay, I got my eye on all of you guys.
My videos on his live stream and only had nice things to say, and I appreciate that. And I think for better or for worse, whether you like his content or not, Hasan Piker is meeting the people of America where they're at in a way nothing else on the left has managed to do. And of course, I don't mean all the people in America, I mean young men in America. The demographic everyone was most wringing their hands over during the 2024 election. The demographic we're all still wringing our hands over. I, like many people, recently watched Louis Theroux's new documentary, Inside the Manosphere. If you haven't seen it, journalist and documentarian Louis Theroux interviews various men who create content and who are part of the Manosphere, a loosely connected cohort of content.
Have you guys watched this documentary? This documentary took like the world by storm for a little bit, but it's like, is this the first time anyone's ever heard of like Red Pill and like Manosphere stuff? It's amazing to me the amount of people that like reached out to me and like recommended the documentary and were like, yo, you ever see this? You ever hear of this? Like the Manosphere and like Red Pill content. And I'm like, am I this chronically online? Yeah. The answer is yeah. You're chronically online. Are you? All the time. How the fuck? Yes, this is the first time. Yeah. Wait, yeah. I got people on Twitch being like, this is the first time I've ever heard about this. Oh my God. Oh, you sweet, sweet summer children. This is let me so yeah, I mean like Hasan, I would say for those of you that are kind of new to the Red Pill Manosphere type of content, Hasan is like his crowd, okay, is the crowd that normally would go into the Manosphere. Right? Like his crowd are people that have a different option than the Manosphere now, or actually a lot of his fans now. He talks about it a lot. A lot of his fans are because his haters in the Manosphere talk so much shit about him that they force their viewers to like go and check him out because they're like, who is this second coming of bin Laden that they're talking about, right? And they go check him out and they're like, holy fuck, I actually agree with a lot of things he's saying. You know, and so I think when you get to know the Manosphere, you probably become a little bit more sympathetic towards what he's doing. And Monica makes a good point. It is, I mean, it's just the tip of the iceberg. So if you don't know much about it, I would watch it. Christy, watch it. I say this out of love. It's a must watch. It's a must watch if you have daughters, bro. Like have your daughters watch it. Like not even your fucking sons, right? I'm saying have your daughters watch this shit. You know? And ultimately it's all, you can all find like incel content, red pill content, looks maxing. Have you heard that come across your fucking social media recently? Clavicular. These are, again, I'm chronically online. These are people I know, but these are funnels to fascism. Every single one of them is a funnel to fascism. It's just a different one, right? Like I talk to Marissa all the time about the fact that like sports is not generally a left-wing space, but because we don't, like leftist sports fans don't make it political. So now that, you know, right-wingers are making it political, I feel like why are left-wing sports fans not being more boisterous out here? You know, like we should be out here talking about this shit in the spaces that they're in. And these are the spaces they're in, right? There's a couple accounts I follow that are like healthy masculinity accounts, and they're great and these accounts talk about like red pill culture a lot. Um, wow, great stream, Aria, great stream idea out there. Uh, to go through red pill stuff. You guys want to go through red pill stuff sometime? Okay, it's awesome. Like awesome in a really terrifying way. It's it's the same idea that I told you about community, okay? It's community. Oh, leftist sports. Yeah, now I could talk about that shit forever. No, it goes back to community, right? Like I'm 40 years old. I was the last generation that left high school without social media, right? Like Facebook came out my freshman year of college. I give this story out a lot. And when I went and spoke to women, bye Nazanin, thanks for coming. When I went to speak to women, I had to fucking crash and burn, man, you know, and then go out there and do it again. And then go out there and do it again. And then go out there and do it again. Right? Like it's just like one of those things where it's just growth is uncomfortable, right? And what the internet has provided for a lot of these men who are now complaining about the fact that they can't get ass, right? It's like, well, it's too difficult for them. Well, it's because the first rejection that you took, you came onto the internet and talked to a bunch of unfuckable men about how women are your problem. Women are telling you what they want. And you're saying, no, you're wrong. I'm going to listen to the most unfuckable man on the planet tell me what women want, right? Like it's none of these men have girlfriends that are giving them advice. Like all these men that like Louis Theroux talks about in this documentary and stuff, none of them have girlfriends. None of them have wives. The ones that do like are, and there's nothing wrong with marrying a woman with a child, like, you know, a single mother, right? But these characters will make these women look like they have less worth. And then they'll go and they'll marry a woman that has a child with another. It's like it's all hypocrisy, right? There's nothing wrong with that. That's just the world. That's the world we live in. That's normal dating in your 40s, you know? Like, but it's so hypocritical, and it's unhealthy. And the worst part of this, right? The reason why this is so important. You too, Nazanin. Let's definitely catch up sometime. The reason why this is so important, not just because, and again, I'll get this all the time from people who, and I won't fight them on this. They'll say, why are we focused so much on men? You know, we're always focused on men. Like, oh, the loneliness, the loneliness epidemic. No, that shit's made up. Okay, like men are the reason men are lonely. Okay, you can tell men that it's patriarchy and capitalism go hand in hand. Okay, they make us lonely. They make us look at each other like competition. You know, why can't I have a friend that I'm not competing for another job or you know, these things we don't share ourselves with. Men don't share themselves with other men. So it's not about that. These men, these 18 to 22-year-olds are going to be adults one day. Like adults that are carrying weapons and are leaders and are getting into some of these like leadership positions. In the world, you guys have seen books and movies of worlds run by incels. Yeah, that's evangelical, you know, that's evangelicalism or fucking Sharia law. Listening to TikTok, got a comment right here. Listening to red pill creators reminds me of dudes my age in their 40s who taught Ayn Rand had, yeah, no, bro, spot on comment. This is the same cohort. It's the evolution of that cohort for sure. Absolutely 100% spot on. All right, here we go.
Content creators who talk about being red pilled in the Matrix, how to be real men and how to be an alpha male, how to get.
And by the way, let me just say this because they said Matrix. Red pill comes from the movie Matrix. And let me tell you, the biggest fucking gripe I have with these unfuckable incels is what they did to that movie. I don't give a fuck about anything else. The Matrix is the greatest movie of all time. It's the greatest movie of all time. It's not about the fact that you can't get pussy, bro. It has nothing to do with that. And it just, oh, like, oh, man, fight me. You know, like it is a fucking that movie's a fucking documentary, dude. The Matrix is a documentary about how the world is. The movie was literally made by trans siblings. They said it was a metaphor for their life as trans people. And you got a bunch of unfuckable men who are like, oh, there's only two genders. Completely. Oh my god. Okay. Yeah, I can't. I'm gonna fucking lose my mind talking about this. That movie. Oh, like, it's the greatest movie of all time, and they just soured it. They destroyed it. They poisoned it like they poison everything.
Women, how to look max, how to look as hot as possible, and I learned in the documentary also how to make money while you sleep by joining
so
their
much for the
Signal chat
follow.
and downloading the stock trading apps they get commissions from by convincing their followers to join. The promise is that if you follow these men, they'll teach you how to be rich and handsome and get women. It speaks to this moment where the American dream is dead. It's harder than ever to provide for yourself, let alone a whole family. Men are isolated and lonely. Women no longer need them, and so they're turning to someone for guidance, for inspiration, to tell them how to get what they want, to explain to them why they feel so shitty. And the Manosphere offers them the antidote. Many of these content creators live stream from their mansions in Ibiza or Miami, and a common form of content is them walking down the streets hitting on women, or pulling off more and more shocking stunts to get views and likes and virality. And if you watch Hasan Piker's content, and then you watch this Inside the Manosphere documentary, there are shades of the Manosphere in Hasan Piker's content. And before you think that I'm trying
I swear to God, I did not watch this video, but she's spot on with this shit. Her analysis is great. It always is. Her analysis is always great.
to cancel Hasan Piker, let me explain myself. Hasan Piker is brazen and often says things that have really high shock value, much like men of the Manosphere content creation universe who rely on doing drastic or shocking shit to get views and clicks. Both attract attention. One is harassing women on the street or getting into physical altercations, while the other is calling into question America's imperialist warmongering by saying we deserved 9/11. Hasan Piker often takes his live streams on the road, followed by a cameraman and accompanied by his entourage. He's usually wearing a lot of jewelry and expensive-looking clothes. The same happens in the Manosphere. One group is wandering around the streets of Miami hitting on women. The other is exploring communist China or the blockade on Cuba. Both are creating content for the same generation of men. One is perpetuating toxic tropes of masculinity and the patriarchy and reinforcing the glorification of the military-industrial complex and sending more and more men down the capitalist pipeline. If you just work hard enough, you can be like me, and you should value money and power above everything else. The other, Hasan Piker, is uplifting marginalized voices, breaking down ethno-religious supremacist ideologies, speaking out forcefully against the billionaire class, and questioning the imperialist nature of the United States as a whole in a way that speaks to young men and meets them where they're at. You might not be comfortable with the way in which men under 40 consume content, the content that they like, the tactics used to communicate with them, with the world as it is right now. That's okay. This content isn't for you. But
People who come across my account might see me talk about Hasan Piker a lot, but because Hasan Piker made me feel less alone in 2023. When I was like on a fucking island with Gaza, I was on a fucking island. The amount, like, one day I'll be comfortable to go back into my inbox from the first 3, 4, 5 months of what was happening in Gaza, like the first half a year after Israel went into Gaza. One day I'll be comfortable enough to go back into like my DMs and like the archived posts that and the responses that I got to those, but it was really fucking lonely. And I had never watched Hasan regularly up until that point. I was under 40, so I guess this is like I'm in that cohort. I was like 38 or whatever, or 37. And she's speaking exactly to what I felt in that moment. You're talking about like I was angry, bro. Like I'm angry. And I want to tell you like how radicalization works here. Like how easily in that moment I could be flirting with radicalization, right? Like in that moment I'm alone. I can't talk to anyone about the feelings I'm feeling. People don't understand. It's part of it is my education. I have a master's in this, right? So this is something I've studied forever, and like now people are telling me the history of the place, and it's just I needed a place to not feel alone. And where could I have gone to get that? Maybe I would have gone if I didn't find Hasan. Maybe I go into an area that's anti-Semitic and is like this country is full of Jews, that it's because of the Jews that are, they're people always need something to blame. And when you allow these forces to manipulate things, right? If you allow these forces to manipulate how you're feeling, and there's no alternative energy there to explain to you what the deal is here, and what's happening, then you're going to fall into some bad places sometimes, you know? And again, I'm not saying that like, Hassan saved me. No. But I'm saying that there are people out there that maybe had less of a support system that I had that were possibly saved by Hassan. Possible, you know, shooters, possible radicalized people that just they caught Hassan one time and now they're not incels, right? And for every one of those, we got to be thankful, right? And he is very clear about his criticism. Like again, you have to be when you are on this side of things, you have to be clear about your criticism. You have to have moral conviction, like I say all the time. You have to be moral clarity. This has nothing to do with Judaism. And if you say it does, that's actually what's anti-Semitic. Because there are thousands of Jews that are anti-Zionist. They're on the front lines of, when Israel comes out and says, these are not real Jews, the ones that, these are fake Jews, that's literally anti-Semitism, guys. Like that's anti-Semitic. That's the definition of anti-Semitism. So it's important to always keep that in mind. Always, you have to, because they will always try to trip you up. They're going to try to label you. They're going to try to call you whatever. Hey, Mad. Nice. Thanks for the follow. Thanks for coming. A message on Twitch from Christy. I felt the exact same before I started my TikTok. My first video was about Gaza, and people were finally not telling me to shut up. Well, some were. Some people always will. TikTok thinks I am a real person. Or no, I'm talking about Israel. That's why. Okay. Yeah, I mean, some people always will. And again, we're getting to the point where there is no, I've made a couple of videos on this where there are no real moving parts anymore in this, right? Like there are no, if you aren't convinced on genocide by now, you'll never be convinced. It's the same with the Epstein files, man. If you aren't convinced on the Epstein files, you'll never be convinced. There's nothing left. There's nothing left for you to see. There's nothing left in Gaza. I mean, there's like nothing left. Like 98% gone. Gone. Yeah, so let's
the reality is that this is the world. This is the world the internet has created, for better or for worse. And I would sure as shit prefer young men to be questioning the geopolitical world order with Hassan Piker than learning how to hit on women on the Miami waterfront. You know what I mean?
for coming,
and this
Bridge.
speaks to a larger
No
issue
worries.
with the Democratic Party,
I'm gonna
one
be
that
doing this
Naomi
more
Klein
often,
lays out
hopefully,
really well
so
in her book Doppelganger,
you guys
and that
will
is
see
that
me more
Democrats have a
often. I'll be
tendency to
annoying.
bury their heads in the sand and ignore the way things are, the real genuine issues people have with the system, instead of figuring out how to fit them within their larger tent. And Republicans and far-right conspiracy theorists are able to step in and fill that void. For example, anti-vaxxing and objections to COVID-era mandates, at least in part, come from a place of truth. It is not irrational or unfounded to question the pharmaceutical industry in this country, an industry that has profited off our death and off keeping us sick. Instead of acknowledging that, and that there are regulatory issues, and that there's good reasons why people might distrust big pharma, the establishment left wrote anti-vaxxers off as nutjobs and continued to cozy up to pharmaceutical lobbyists, giving the far right an opportunity to swoop in and win over anti-vaxxers by acknowledging the truth that sent them down that pipeline to begin with. You're right. There is something fishy about how pharmaceutical companies operate in this country. That wins over trust. That then becomes easy.
No, your message didn't get ignored. I'm running a stream. I would love to, send me a message, send me a TikTok, send me a Twitch message, or put your link into the chat. It's not a big deal.
To exploit with lies and conspiracies. The same is true of young men and the manosphere. The manosphere is capitalizing on something that is true. Young men in this country are not okay. The economy is rigged against all of us. The patriarchy hurts everyone and makes them feel horrible about themselves because they can't be providers anymore. And the manosphere acknowledges that truth and then sends them down the toxic pipeline. You're right, life is really hard. You are being exploited. That wins over trust that then becomes easy to exploit with lies and conspiracies. The manosphere tells them the way to win back your agency is through stocks and emotionally abusing women. Hassan Piker tells them that actually the billionaire class is the reason why your life sucks. Young men are seeking this shit out online, whether we like it or not. And they're not seeking it out from mainstream media. They're not seeking it out from even someone like me, a leftist, yes, but someone who's a lot more measured and doesn't do or say things that go particularly viral, and is also a woman in her 30s, so sorry, but I'm not particularly intriguing to 20.
No, I'm sorry. Like, no offense. I have no idea who you are. I'm not gonna just like play your video on my stream. I'll check it out. If you want to leave a link, I don't mind checking it out, and then I can react to it sometime. But I'm not gonna play it live like that. Sorry. No offense.
year-old men, and I'm really okay with that. That's just the reality of the situation. And I don't know about you, but I'd far prefer a world where they jump onto the leftist Hassan Piker train than the manosphere death spiral. I think that's a net positive for America. And yet, the establishment Democrats, the legacy media, would rather shoot themselves in the foot than acknowledge that they need Hassan Piker in their tent. They would rather throw their weight behind attempting to cancel him than attempting to understand what it is about him that speaks to a base of people that they have been clamoring to win over, young men. They all of a sudden demand purity, to never associate with anyone who's ever said anything objectionable, while openly and vociferously supporting Israel, an apartheid state actively committing genocide while the world watches. Instead of attempting to figure out how to actually fit the entire left wing of this country in their tent, which is their burden in our fucked up two-party system, which would require acknowledging differences, having hard conversations, strategizing, open-mindedness, coalition building, they are once again alienating the entire left of their base, because this isn't just off-putting to Hassan Piker fans, it's off-putting to anyone outside left of center who wants to see the Democrats attempt to mend this party, take back power, and make the types of progressive changes that need to happen to ensure a Donald Trump figure never happens again in this country. And that requires addressing the truths that Donald Trump and the right have been willing to exploit, that billionaires are amassing wealth and leaving us to fight over the scraps, that life in America is about surviving and not thriving for the vast majority of Americans. Trump promised solutions to that and of course delivered nothing, but Democrats could actually step in and increase taxes on the wealthy, provide affordable healthcare and childcare if they were.
You guys want me to scare the shit out of you for a minute? If you guys trust, like, I know a lot of you trust, like, my political, at least the ones on Twitch have trusted my political insight before, but if Donald Trump, okay, if Donald Trump woke up tomorrow and he tweeted, I am cutting Israel off of the American dime, I'm no longer shipping any weapons to them, and I am going to sanction them. I'm going to sanction them the way we sanctioned South Africa to get rid of apartheid. Just imagine, right? It's possible. He could tweet something like that. It's not out of the realm of fucking possibility, okay? He sends something like that out. What do you think the response to that in America is going to be? You don't think right now, how many of you don't think he's going to get a third fucking term in this country? How many of you feel confident about that? He's not going to get a third term. Just let him tweet that. And let's see how confident you feel about that. Because right now, the only force that is adamant about Israel that isn't like a streamer, that is like actually has some type of political power is Tucker fucking Carlson right now. And that's a legitimate anti-Semite. Okay. So that's not like that guy's dangerous, okay? Right now, Israel is so fucking unpopular that you are going to get flanked on your left by Tucker Carlson. 2 months ago, or a few months ago, an op-ed came out randomly. Like, I think it was in New York Times or Time magazine. It was in one of these, right? An op-ed came out. And the title of this op-ed was, "It's time to tax billionaires. I volunteer to be the first." Who do you guys think wrote that op-ed? Wasn't a Democrat. That's the guess I'll give you guys. It wasn't a fucking Democrat. It was Mitt fucking Romney. Mitt Romney wrote that before any fucking Democrat wrote that. Mitt Romney is more unforgiving to billionaires than Gavin fucking Newsom. Put that in your back pocket, okay? Campaign on that shit, right? The Democratic Party isn't just in serious trouble. The existence of this country, as you know it, is in serious trouble. And it's not because Republicans are bad. They're the monsters that we know. It's because your leaders are controlled opposition. And if you don't grab them by the fucking throat and demand what you want from them, they are going to walk you straight into hell. They're going to walk you straight into hell. Because you lack spine on genocide. You are going to let Tucker Carlson take the moral position on genocide before you can. And you will get torched There will never be another Democrat administration. You might as well rename yourself. They're dead to begin with. The way they're moving now, it's like they haven't learned anything. And this is proof to you that they don't care about winning. They care about the bag, right? That's ultimately more important to them than giving you a winning platform. And you need to remember that these guys we are fucking boned right now. We are going to get flanked on our left by a bunch of fucking fascists.
Willing to embrace progressive ideals and the people that come along with it. But they're not. Just like in Germany in the lead up to World War II, in America, we are seeing the quote-unquote opposition party choose money over morals, cling to their elite friends, align themselves closer with the fascists than with the people, while just playing lip service to the concerns of the masses and doing nothing about anything, and then throwing us all under the bus in order to keep their power. So the discussion over Hasan Piker is about so much more than what we do with this leftist guy who live streams all day. It is a microcosm of how fucking broken this country is, that we cannot even fathom how to include actual leftist progressive ideas that would actually help the masses into our.
And every study out there shows that if you were to take the D or the R, if you were to remove that away from the policy, like the progressive policy, like 90 or 80% of Americans are for it. That's the other thing. We're so tribalized right now. But if you were to remove that, and they've done studies on this where they've just given the policy, they put the policy in front of the person, been like, are you for this? And the populist policy is always favorable to both sides if they don't know which party it's coming from. Hey, Marissa's back. You missed the best part of the stream, the whole thing. Just kidding.
National political conversation, that we equate leftist progressivism as just as extreme and therefore bad as far-right extremism, as though they're equally at the same distance ends of the political spectrum. Despite the fact that in many countries in Europe, there are people who espouse very similar values to Hasan Piker, who hold seats in parliament, whose democratic socialist parties are seen as center-left. Much like who and what we deem to be terrorists is dictated by bias and power dynamics, what we deem to be extremist political ideology in this country is also seriously biased and skewed. To characterize someone like Hasan Piker as extremist in the same way that someone like Nick Fuentes is extremist is an irresponsible, willful mischaracterization that is motivated by the same pro-capitalist.
And I hope you guys know that terrorist is like a political designation now. That shit don't mean anything, okay? Like they're naming protesters domestic terrorists right now. We'll call it it's the guy who's like the leader of Syria right now is literally the former head of Al-Qaeda in Syria. Is now the president of Syria, supported by America. So remember what the word terrorism means. It just means we're mad at you at the moment, or we want something that you have, or something. It doesn't mean anything. The word terrorist is it's a political designation now. Doesn't fucking have any meaning at all.
Pro-billionaire bullshit that has gotten us into this situation to begin with. And the Democratic establishment is doing nothing but further alienating people when it attempts to cancel Hasan Piker and any progressive candidate who dares go near him. And of course, there's also fretting about what about the centrists? What about the independents? It's true, there is a huge swath of this country that isn't particularly interested in quote-unquote progressive policies that do find Hasan Piker to be too extreme and may themselves be alienated by his ideas and past statements. What do we do about them? As with a lot of issues with the Democratic Party, this comes down to a messaging and strategy problem, something the Democrats notoriously fucking suck at. Of course, you don't bring Hasan Piker into every single room. He is a particular person who speaks to a particular demographic. You gotta know your audience, and you have to mold your message accordingly. And this is something that I think Bernie Sanders has mastered. You don't label shit progressive or far left or politically extreme. You just actually listen to people and what they want, and you provide them with solutions that make them excited about you as a candidate. And the solution tends to be get money out of politics and raise taxes on the 1% to help fund the government. Those are negatively labeled as progressive ideas, but they shouldn't be. Leveling the playing field for people so that billionaires can't rig the entire game isn't a progressive idea. It's pro-democracy. It just seems that there's zero creativity in these washed up, dusty Democratic strategists out there, that they just cannot come up with a single way to get people excited about voting for Democrats. The only reason we're excited to show up and vote for Democrats in the.
And I think, like, Matt, like, I know you're still in the chat, right, Matt? Let me check, see if you're still in here. Yeah, you are. Me and you spoke, you asked me one time in one of my streams, you asked me, you were like, what's your advice to people who are like trying to organize boomers? Pretty much, that was your like older Democrats. What you said. I'm gonna use the word boomers. That wasn't you that used that word. And I told you that like it's truly my belief that like it's time to pivot off of convincing the boomers and convincing the young people, right? Like that, like the boomers, right, are not gonna show up on primary day, probably. You know, they're gonna show up in general. They're not excitable. You know, like when they're telling you they're gonna vote for the incumbent and whatever, or the Democrat, they're gonna vote blue no matter who. But there is an entire giant swath of people that are not activated, that are not like they're in the same political camp as you. They have the same thoughts as you do. The same feelings as you do, but they've never no one's it's never been worth it to them. Why would they vote? What's it done for them? What's it done for any of us, right? So, and I think we've kind of like given up on that group a little bit in general. Like we've just not given up, but like Hassan Piker, I feel like is just that part of that environment, part of that movement that is like speaking to those people. And to be able to speak to more of those people as opposed to wasting your time trying to teach an old dog new tricks. Fuck them, man. Like, you know, boomers, do your thing, whatever, you know. They're not excited enough to railroad us either, you know. They're just gonna fall in line and vote for whoever's there at the end. Right? So it's like fuck it. Okay, fine. Don't worry about what their thoughts are, but make sure that the people who are under 40, that all of them are showing up. If you were to do that, you're gonna win every fucking primary. Every fucking primary, you're gonna win. If you get every person under 40 to show up, you're gonna win every single primary with your candidate. Excited people show up to primaries. Content people, or, you know, milquetoast people, and they're not, you know, but excited people, angry people, frustrated people, all emotions that are helpful to getting you to show up when it matters. Hell yeah, let's go. I'm pivoting from the Pelham Dems because I've done all I can. I'm going to be training to be canvas. Let's go, bro. Round of applause for Matt. Fucking, I love Karishma. She's my pick for Senate in that race. So I think there's a fucking mole in that race. All right, that's the most I'm gonna say. I don't want to fucking there's a mole in that race. All right.
Midterms in November is because we're desperate for something less awful than this. The only reason I was excited to vote for Kamala Harris in 2024 was because she wasn't Trump and seemed less likely to completely fuck up the entire country and world order during her presidency. Can you imagine a Democratic candidate actually presenting you with ideas that you could get excited about because the ideas themselves are good? I mean, that's what happened in New York City. I said this last episode. Zohran Mamdani didn't harp on about how bad his opponents were. He presented a really exciting vision for what New York City could be. And yes, he even appeared on Hassan Piker's live stream. And what do you know? It didn't alienate everyone who doesn't love Hassan Piker. It was one tactic of many that he used to actually talk to New Yorkers and understand who they listen to and what they care about and meet them where they were at. He didn't just talk to Hassan Piker. He talked to a lot of people. What's wild and crazy about being a politician is you actually have to communicate with and find compromise with people you don't agree with 100% of the time. That's actually a necessary piece of politicking. Zohran Mamdani did it while also seeming likable, approachable, and reasonable. And the Democratic Party demonized him for that too. Because again, they would rather cancel the candidate with the progressive ideas in order to align themselves with elite interests every single time, which is why most Democrat Party candidates are fucking creeps who seem so completely disconnected from actual real life. They're not put in place for us. They're put in place by the elite interests who want to control the narrative and keep their power. So when someone like Hassan Piker comes along who cannot be controlled and in fact seems to revel in shaking things up and pissing people off, and then a candidate like Dr. Abdul El Sayed actually dares to bring Hassan into the fold and treat him like the influential political actor he is, the Democratic establishment has to swoop in and nip that in the bud before it gets so out of control that people start actually learning about, understanding, and wanting these extremist progressive ideals. Until we vote these elitist creeps out of office and find better alternatives, this is what we're stuck with in this country. And the way things are going, it is people like Hassan Piker who are going to have to do the actual political work of convincing people that progressive ideas actually aren't that extreme after all. If you'd like to support my work, consider joining on YouTube, Substack, or Patreon to get access to all.
I mean, I don't know. I think I'm kind of like preaching to the choir here with her take, but I think like there is this space, right, where like your personal feelings on Hassan Piker or any like political or any like political talking head, like it's relevant. Fine. Like you can feel however you want, like personally, but like really always just remember the message here, right? And like what the critique is. Right, like a lot of the critique has nothing to do with the message itself. You can be okay with the way the message is being said, you know. But I think part of the problem too is that we have become so fucking jaded. And we are like looking like it's genocide, man. You know, like it's like how much longer are we going to talk about this? Like whether or not this is happening. Like it's just I'm sick of talking about anything. Like anything that is in the orbit of that like Hassan Piker is only being brought up because of the genocide in Israel or in Gaza. Hassan Piker's his name is only coming up because of that, right? There's no genocide. Hassan Piker isn't popular, right? It's always a misdirection of like what the source of the problem is here. And again, what was the source of the problem of 2024? You couldn't inspire people to show up, man. And how funny is it now? Kamala Harris is hitting us with the be a transactional voter. My Lord. You know why she's saying that now, right? You guys understand now why she's saying that right now. The people who are like, vote blue no matter who, y'all hate black women for not voting for Kamala Harris, that group, you know what they're saying now? They're saying, don't vote blue no matter who. Demand something from your politicians. That's what they're saying now. Why do you think they're saying that? Any guesses? Is it because their position is the minority position now? Is it because now the people who are anti-genocide are actually the majority of the party and they're going to expect you to fall in line like you've been expecting us for the past 30 fucking years? We're going to expect you to fall in line for the vote blue no matter who. But now you're now you're transactional voters. Oh, I see. Okay. Find you someone that gaslights you the way Democrats do. Don't be lonely. Get your ass gaslighted. Okay. Worse than any ex I've ever had. I've only had one ex. She gaslighted me pretty bad. But, you know, send the entire DNC to fucking therapy. Okay. Bunch of fucking monsters, dude. Seriously. Like, when that Eric Swalwell stuff came out, it was like, this seems sus. Oh my God, dude. It's just fucking unbelievable. Just unreal. Message in TikTok. The Democrat versus leftist battles expose how fascist Democrats are. Yeah, I mean, you know, that line, like, you scratch a liberal and a fascist bleeds. And I think, like, there's this, I think there's a portion of liberals, I think, still believe that there's some type of normalcy that we're going to return to. Like, there's something, like, they're so, like, the comments that I love in comment sections are the ones that are like, I'll never forgive the people that voted for this. I'll never forgive the people. Kamala Harris never would have done this. It's like, bitch, wake the fuck up, bro. The house is halfway burnt down. You're sitting in there like, I'll never forget. So spineless. Like, you just had to want to stop killing children. Oh, I'll never forgive them. Oh, I'm sure that'll help you in the next election too. It's so fucking spineless, bro. It just makes me crazy, dude. It just, and that's where your moral clarity comes in. Okay, it always comes back to moral clarity, moral conviction. Do not be unapologetic about human rights. Be unapologetic about gender rights. Don't tolerate intolerance. Ultimately, is the lesson here. Let's see. What else can we do here? Can we should we do like a TikTok? Should we check my TikTok For You page, see what kind of fuck? I always said that maybe I do like a TikTok what do you call it? Like a For You page, like a Russian roulette, my For You page, and see what kind of fucking shenanigans it's showing us. I'm kind of terrified to do that, actually. I get some crazy shit. I get some crazy. All right, let's do it. All right, let's see. Oh. Hey, it's me. Oh my God. All right, let's do this.
Give us rebate check.
This is also a Persian. This is a Persian creator. This is a Persian creator that I just recently became mutuals with. So let's see what she has to say.
And Trump, and believe that Trump is gonna like give us rebate checks and you know, Trump is gonna like make America safer again. Especially considering the fact that like the majority of the, you know, right-winged figures like Tucker, Steve Bannon, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Thomas Massie have all folded, and they're like, we're walking away from this. This man is senile. And there's actually reports that Tucker Carlson was talking to generals on Tuesday trying to get them to either not pull through with orders or to basically somehow change the nuclear codes in the football so that there's no way that Trump could have like, I don't know what's funnier, somehow change the nuclear codes in the football so that there's no way that Trump could have like detonated the nuclear bomb that he was basically promising to launch onto Iran. I don't know if that's funnier or if it's funnier to know that there are people that still believe in the DNC, and that if we continue to uphold people that are DNC figures like Andy Bashir and Eric
Yo, fuck Andy Bashir, bro. Oh my, yeah. All right.
Swalwell and Gavin Newsom, then in 2026 and 2028, things will be okay again.
Algorithm cooking already.
I just want people to know that the same people that fund MAGA, the big pharma, AIPAC, I mean, at this point, I'm not even mad at the end.
She basically just said what I told you guys earlier in the stream, that it's like the same source. It's the same source of funding, literally the same shit that I was telling you guys earlier in the stream, that like it is the same. It's literally the same source. It's not like, I'm not being hyperbolic. I'm not exaggerating. The literal same source that is like AIPAC sourcing and pro-Israel sourcing is funding this anti-Hassan Piker hate, is funding this seemingly grassroots movement of Iranians being like, come nuke us. We want you to come nuke us. No, bro. Like, Iranians don't want you to nuke them. That doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. We're not out there. None of us are out there. Okay. So every one of the people that you hear, like BBC had an article, like they pretended they spoke to someone in Iran being like, maybe we do need a nuclear attack. Bro. Fuck out of here. Come on. Saying the same thing I did. Oh, Sun Cook, one of my favorite accounts recently. I just gotta tell him to turn the music down a little bit. He's doing great though. I fucking love his account. Marissa, his account's doing great. I think his account is great.
The reason why Hassan Piker.
Okay, another one of my favorite mutuals. Has a very interesting background, very diverse background, and she's in Maine. So we talk a lot. We talk a lot about Graham Plattner. You know, she has complicated feelings about Graham Plattner, which is valid, right? I mean, these are valid conversations I enjoy having with people from different backgrounds. And she's a great general follow for just, you know, strong takes, good takes, takes from a Muslim woman. She's also I think she's part of the disability community, possibly. I don't want to speak for her, but she's great. I love her take.
Has such a huge platform and following in ways
Did
that
you change your name?
Democrats,
But do you like dinosaurs?
podcasters, pseudo-celebrities,
I'm gonna have to message her.
talking heads. The reason why his platform is bigger and more popular is because he denounces ethno-nationalism and settler colonialism. And even in the few instances where these Democrat podcasters and representatives do denounce Zionism, they are tolerant of other people's Zionism. And so they collaborate with and they have people in their inner circle and they prop up people who are okay with ethno-nationalism and settler colonialism. It is literally Democrats' fault that Hassan Piker exists. Because how would he stand out if everybody denounced Zionism, if everybody denounced shit real? What would make him unique? Immature, edgelord, muscly men are kind of a dime a dozen. In closing, I just want to remind you, if you have 10 people sat at a table and a Nazi comes and sits at that table, you've got 11 Nazis.
I'm trying to get what's going on here. talk about building this fucking algorithm brick by brick. I literally just said that too. That like that's what this is. The genocide is what created Hassan Piker, right? The genocide, like with if you had moral clarity, moral conviction on genocide, you wouldn't have a guy who's a sweaty edgelord, like she said he is, with a bunch of sweaty edgelords who also are against genocide, right? Like you are ceding that moral space to a streamer. And you're complaining about it now. Instead of dealing with the fact at hand, you're calling the streamer a terrorist, which is, you know, interesting strategy. But that's how Trump was created. You are watching in real time. If the Democrats don't smarten up, they're going to create Donald Trump 2.0, and his name is Hassan Piker. Careful what you wish for. All right, what is this?
Away from this bitch. Bitch, leave me alone. Leave me the fuck alone, bitch.
Don't forget.
I'm trying to get away from this bitch. Bitch, leave me alone. Leave me the fuck.
I don't know. I don't have that problem. I don't know why this is on my like.
Don't forget.
Calling me.
I'm also just a girl. Standing in front of a boy.
Fuck being a
asking him to love her.
I'm a big straight boy, bro. I ain't going in there. The fuck you talking about? What is this gender war shit? Don't you guys want equality? What the hell is this? You think I'm going in that room? Fuck that, bro. Unbelievable.
Influencers and some people in the white.
Okay, for those of you who don't know who this is, follow her. Go follow her. She's probably my favorite follow right now. This is Ashley St. Clair. This is Elon Musk's baby mama. All right, like one of the many. And she blew up. Actually, she's one of the more famous ones. I don't know. There was some back and forth about, you know, obviously she just wanted clout at the time, I guess, and obviously he just wants to have a whole ton of children because he's fucking weird and unfuckable. But this is his former girlfriend, who's the mother of his child, and she's untethered now. She used to be part of this. She was part of like one of the online influencer soldiers. She's pretty. She was like the pro-America, pro-Trump. She had one of those influencer accounts, and then she broke off. Like she stopped being in their good graces, and now she just spits fire. She tells you everything about like she's on a Madison Cawthorn hit piece right now. She's talking about Madison Cawthorn. I don't know if you guys remember that crazy dude who was like telling us that there were like Republican orgies going on. And then he got fucking as soon as he said that, as soon as he was like, yo, Republican men are like inviting me to orgies, all of a sudden the entire Republican Party was like, this guy is the second coming of the devil. They fucking got rid of that guy so quick, dude. He's nowhere near an Epstein list. He was just telling you what Republicans were doing in the background. They got rid of him real quick. But anyway, she's great account because I believe her. The things that she says about these guys, I believe her. I believe that she has this insider information and that not lying, you know, because she takes a lot of shit.
White House are not happy that I talked about how they make their money and how they coordinate their messaging. So let's get into it.
So she's talking about a video that she did, I saw earlier, where she was talking about how much she was getting paid to make some posts, which was fucking.
My original upload of this video included the name of the app that the S workers use to review these men and find out if they're safe. And after I uploaded it, an S worker had reached out to me and told me that this can negatively impact them. So I have deleted the original video and I'm re-uploading it with the name of the app censored to protect this resource that they use within their community to stay safe.
For those who don't know, my name is Ashley St. Clair, and I was involved in MAGA politics for almost a decade.
I don't know how to do it on PC.
So the other day, I posted a Get Ready With Me while I explained how the MAGA influence campaigns work, how so many of these people are paid, and how so much of the messaging is coordinated through group chats with the administration, yada yada who. Now, I want to preface this by saying when I do content here, I am doing it, one, to just have a good time and be my age, to finally be 27 and do some little makeup videos, get ready with me, while also trying to be helpful and talk about the journey that I've been on deconstructing and leaving what really felt like a cult to me. This is my personal experience, and I'm really... I'm just living my life, okay? I am not trying to have a career as an influencer, okay? Been there, done that.
We'll see what she has to say. I wish I knew how to do, like, make it quicker on PC, but I can't.
And that's where I really want to make the change that I believe is going to be the most impactful. However, when I made this video talking about how these MAGA influence campaigns work and that so many of these individuals are paid, a lot of the people who were paid were not happy about this at all. One of these people is a very popular Instagram blogger who I'm not going to name for now. I'm going to be good. If you really want to know, it's on my Instagram. MAGA influencers and some people in the white trash White House are MAGA influencers is pretending to be a real journalist with access to the White House and her relationship with Bobby Kennedy, who's also a mess, by the way. Nonetheless, she pretends to be this journalist who just worked her way to the top, and she's so smart and credentialed now. Meanwhile, the only way she has access to the White House is through two of the messiest white trash individuals I have ever had the displeasure of knowing. So Jane basically gets all of her access to the White House by taking advantage of these very broken people who are addicted to a variety of things, who slur their words before noon and cheat on their husbands with men and women while promoting MAGA family values. And if you want to talk about gold digger, I have some stories for you. Nonetheless, Jane comes for me. Now, one thing I know about Jane, I've met her a handful of times. We've texted on occasion. We were cordial.
I bet you've never listened to one Joe Rogan podcast.
I've met your hero. MAGA influencers and MAGA influencers and...
Well, breaking fuck the news. Pete Hegseth is under fire for leading a prayer at the Pentagon that was a quote from Pulp Fiction. And don't worry, everybody. I did the hard work, found both clips, and I'm going to play them simultaneously on the screen. You could just focus on either or. You're going to hear both voices, and it's literally copy and paste.
Ezekiel 25:17. So the prayer is CSAR 25:17, and it reads, and pray with me, please. The path of the downed aviator is beset on all sides by the iniquities of the selfish and the tyranny of evil men. Blessed is he who in the name of camaraderie and unity shepherds the lost through the valley of darkness. For he is truly his brother's keeper, and the finder of lost children. And I will strike down upon thee with great vengeance and furious anger those who attempt to capture and destroy and you will know my cause is poison and destroy my vengeance.
And you will know my name is the Lord when I lay my vengeance upon.
You can't make... That is not a real Bible verse. They have now depicted Donald Trump as Jesus, the evangelist, saying that he is a gift from God, and now Pete Hegseth is playing in your fucking face. They fucking hate y'all.
You know, is part of you, the happy part of you, and like
that's fucking insane. Okay,
being able to not identify with our emotions.
This is some 4D fucking Black Mirror shit. We are not living someone's life.
The Trump administration just subpoenaed
Love
Arizona
her.
for
Follow
the
her.
2020
Let's
voting records, and now suddenly the FBI's involvement in the Nancy Guthrie case is starting to make a lot more sense.
Marissa, Nancy Guthrie, Nancy Guthrie lore, Nancy Guthrie T.
Trust me on this one, okay? Just let me cook. Let me think out loud here for a second, because remember when the FBI was investigating the case in Arizona and Kash Patel had announced proudly that the FBI had recovered all of this deleted footage from Nancy Guthrie's Google Nest camera by going into Google's back-end servers. And this was all data that the local police and even the sheriff's department said that they couldn't touch, that they didn't even know existed, and Google had said point blank that was gone. And he kept posting about it on X and showing the video on X, and it seemed like he wanted everybody to know what he had done with the FBI team. Well, specifically, that subpoena that got sent to Arizona went to Maricopa County, which is the largest county in Arizona. A county which, by the way, had already been through an audit subpoena process regarding the 2020 elections in 2021, which was conducted by the Republican Party. And it just made me wonder, why Maricopa County?
Must be like a cent,
how are they picking
right?
these counties specifically? I know that they're the largest counties, but it seems like they're cherry picking. So I decided to look into the tech infrastructure they used during the 2020 election. And as it turns out, Maricopa County used Dominion voting systems as part of their election equipment in 2020, which included tabulators and central counters and this election management system, which ran on workstations and servers that were local servers. The government does not F around when it comes to auditing these systems to make sure that they're safe. And multiple audits had confirmed that the election systems were air-gapped, which meant that they were not connected to the public internet. So the local server that was holding any information, be it voter registration or tabulated voting, did not connect to the internet. All that being said, though, Maricopa County's IT infrastructure in a broader sense does connect to the internet, but that's separate from the voting network. However, upon a little further digging, I saw that as recently as February 18th, 2026, Maricopa County's Board of Supervisors voted unanimously to expedite the separation of election IT from the county's general IT systems. Even funding 17 new positions, it looks like, in order to do so. So, I have a few questions. Just to be clear, what this suggests to me is that these systems were still more entwined than some may have assumed. Here's where it gets interesting, because I saw this report from 2017 that ES&S, which is the largest voter vendor system in the country, servicing over 40 states, that apparently they were caught storing these backup files for over 1.8 million Chicago voter records on Amazon Web Services. AWS, the cloud, and it was publicly accessible at that. You think I'm making this up? I'm sorry, come again, on Amazon Web Services?
We are such a
So with that context in mind, thinking back to how Kash Patel was bragging on social media about being able to get into Google's back-end servers and the back-end cloud infrastructure, a system that everybody was told was locked and or safe and or the data within it was deleted, I don't know, I couldn't help but wonder what else was happening during that time that the FBI was in Arizona. What I do know is this, though. Data doesn't live in just one place. It never does. It gets backed up on more than one server. And every time data moves from server to server, it leaves a residual trace, right? It's like dust settling on furniture right after you've cleaned a house, which is exactly what Kash Patel had just proved to the world through that Nest doorbell camera. And that means deleted doesn't mean gone. It just means gone from you. And again, just thinking out loud here, so you have this FBI team in Arizona for 6 weeks. And for 6 weeks, they're working alongside these forensic tech teams and private tech companies. And for 6 weeks, they are serving these warrants and accessing back-end systems,
doing with that voter information?
And the whole time, apparently, Maricopa County's election IT was still at least partially connected to their general cloud infrastructure. Their infrastructure that touches the internet, their infrastructure that touches vendors, their infrastructure that touches cloud systems. Because remember how at the beginning we talked about how they unanimously voted to try to divorce those systems from each other as quickly as possible, as late as February 16th? Or was it 18th? It doesn't matter. It's February. So I can't help but wonder, did any of those back-end systems hold any residual backup data from the 2020 election? Because if they did, and the FBI found it the same way they found Nancy Guthrie's deleted footage, then that means the subpoena that they just served to Arizona for their voting records isn't how they're getting the information. It's how they're making it legal after the fact.
See, everybody always tells you about how
it's pretty
the
fucked
Trump
up.
administration.
And so they're okay. So they're manipulating the that was a bit long, but they're manipulating the data to support like their findings. And this whole idea that like these voting systems should not be connected to the internet. That's like the main Like every accusation is a confession, right? Like when Republicans always talk about, oh, these systems are connected to the internet. They aren't, but apparently they connect them themselves. How IDF of them. But you guys should follow this account if you don't. The Dre Dossier. She's awesome. Very good investigative account. Pretty long videos, but in depth.
See, everybody always tells you about how Julius Caesar was by Roman.
All right, here we go. Now my algorithm is cooking, guys. All right, let's see what this guy has to say. The greatest get back of all time.
Senators, but nobody ever tells you about what happened after. See, Mark Antony, that was Caesar's boy. That was his dog. That was tight. He pulled up to the Senate meeting. He said, the meeting over already? Where's Caesar at? The senator said, we're not going to lie to you, Mark. We just had to slime out Caesar. Mark said,
accurate.
They said, Mark, what you doing? He said, I'm counting how many people I need to get my get back on. And that's when the senators who Caesar had a problem. Mark didn't play about his boy. Now, I want you to take a look at this statue. Look at that statue's neck. Mark was a big man. In fact, Mark was such a problem. They did not want him in the vicinity while they slimed out Caesar. Mark was supposed to be in the room with Caesar. But some senators was distracting him outside because they knew if Mark was in the room, it might not have went the same way. Mark was figuring this all out. At this point, he crashed out. He said, oh, okay. The senator said, we're going to leave you to your thoughts. The senators dipped. Mark pulls up to Caesar's adopted son, Octavian. Remember that name? He said, they slimed out our boy. Octavian said, well, let's slime them out then. Octavian and Mark write a list of every senator that got Caesar so they can get them. Somebody pull up to the senator and say, yo, they writing a list about y'all. The senator says, who writing the list? They said, Mark Antony and Octavian. Yeah, they coming to get y'all. The senator said, oh, now the main senators, Cassius and Brutus, they was the masterminds. Brutus was Caesar's dog. Like he was in Caesar's will. They was tight. He's the one who got Caesar to come outside in the first place so they could slime him out. Mark Antony and Octavian wanted him bad. Brutus said, am I on the list? Messenger said, it look like you at the top. Brutus said, they hear a scream. They look to the left. Senator, gone. They already taking him out. It's already begun. They going down like flies. Cassius looked at Brutus. He said, okay, we not finna get away. We might as well raise an army and just fight back. Brutus said, okay. Bad idea. See, Mark Antony and Octavian, they loved war. That's how they got famous in the first place under Caesar. That boy was a master general. They said, yeah, we've been waiting for this. Brutus and Cassius said, that's not a good sign. Cassius said, come on, Brutus, stop being scary. We could take him. The war starts. Cassius's forces get decimated. In the first wave, Cassius himself, he said, they're not finna catch me. Brutus said, okay, where Cassius at? The messenger said, yeah, Cassius himself. Brutus said, oh, really? Brutus himself. After that, Octavian and Mark Antony wiped out every other senator. Then they split up Rome. They said, you take that side, I take this side. Then they started fighting. Then Mark Antony said, look, why don't I just marry your sister, Octavia? Yeah, Octavian's sister was named Octavia. And then, we stopped fighting from there. Mark Antony married Octavian's sister. But then Mark Antony started cheating on Octavian's sister with none other than Cleopatra. Cleopatra had 3 kids by Mark Antony. Octavian said, not my sister. Octavian raises an army. He said, it's time for war. Mark Antony raises an army too. He said, hello, where the army at? Mark Antony lost badly. He rushes over to Egypt, and Cleopatra, he said, yo, them folk outside, they got me. Cleopatra said, why you come over here then? He said, because they gonna get you too. That boy Octavian all over Rome talking about how you an evil Egyptian who seduced me and Caesar, because you was with Caesar too, lest the people forget, and how Egypt is all evil and stuff. Where you think the Americans learn propaganda? Cleopatra said, what's an American? He said, don't worry about all that right now, focus. Mark Antony raises up a new army in Egypt. He said, I'm finna get my slide back on Octavian. He rallies the troops. He said, everybody, it's our last stand. He lost again, badly. He then himself rather than be captured, so Cleopatra herself as well, so she couldn't be captured. Then all that was left was Octavian. He becomes supreme emperor of Rome. Everybody said, wow, look at that guy. His new name is Augustus. Augustus pulls up. He says, senators, my first decree is you guys get your job back. For sure. I'm gonna create a firefighter force, a police force. I'm gonna pave new roads. And in general, he actually does a really good job for Rome. They said, okay, appreciate you. And the irony of it all is the senators, Julius Caesar, because they thought he was becoming too powerful, they didn't want him to become king. They thought that would be bad for Rome. But in the end, they created an emperor, and it was actually a good thing for Rome. It's just a twist of fate.
Last one. When an Indian wedding has to shelter in the same place as all your
It's time to wake up Miss Billy.
All right, we'll do one dog. We'll do one dog here.
Our
One dog
eyes
video.
are open. She has chosen a different location today, which is the heat vent. So. Come on in, Miss Billy.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. You are so.
Cuteness aggression. Cuteness aggression.
Oh. Are we too tired for a
So
stretch
my mom's
today?
cats. My mom has 2 cats. I see them and I
Really?
just. Oh my
Are
god.
you too tired to stretch this morning?
He's weepy. He's a weepy
Miss
boy.
Billy, I have to
A
talk to you.
weepy girl.
Did you know you're the sleepiest and the prettiest puppy at the party?
Oh my
You're the
god.
sleepy.
Terrible. Oh my god.
That was really good. Okay.
All right, enough of that. Oh, fucking cry myself to say, hey, I love you guys. Thanks for coming. You guys are the best. Look out for me. We're gonna be doing this more often. We're gonna try to do this every day. Maybe we'll see. Fingers crossed. I'm sick of making I want to yell at people in live. You know, I want the people that leave me anonymous fucking hater comments in my videos. I want them to just show up here and talk to me in person. Just kidding. I hope they don't do that. But you guys are the best. Thanks for coming. You guys are awesome. Love you guys. Turn your notifications on. It's the same username on Twitch as TikTok. And yeah, we're gonna be doing this more often. We're gonna be learning together. And yeah, take care of each other. Take care of yourselves. I love you guys. Talk to you later. Bye.